is a cool kid, and he's here for the 9th annual Rally for Kids with Cancer Scavenger Cup. Please welcome back, get this, actor, author, musician, voice of many cool cartoons, proud papa, lovely husband, fan to all, friend to all, the real Jay Peterman, John O'Hurley. We can go on and on. We're so happy to have you here.
Oh, I just love being on the couch with you.
You're the best for visiting again. Like, you really are a fan favorite. We were talking about Mariah Carey, and you guys do share something. I don't know if you know this.
What's up?
You were both on the People's Most Sexiest Person Alive
Oh,
list.
the sexiest men alive. Yeah, well, in my case, they were weighing in more heavily on the alive part. And not the sexy.
You've got so much going on all the time. We were talking about your touring. You've got an incredible one-man, 2-hour-long show.
Yeah, you know, I finally put together a one-man show. Stories of my life along. It's called A Man with Standards because I grew up in the period of the Great American Songbook, the standards that we call it. But I also grew up in a time when people had standards. And I grew up literally in the shadow of gentlemen. And I had such a great experience with you know, the men that I grew up around, that I wanted to talk about the idea of being a gentleman.
Oh, and that music just takes all of us back, whether you were there for that time or not. It's just timeless. Speaking of timeless, Frank Sinatra is one of those, Mr. Blue Eyes. You've got a great story, I hear.
Well, he's the icon of this period, really, because you don't talk about singing, you talk about singing Sinatra. I had a great experience with him. I was invited to the Sinatra Celebrity Golf Tournament, and I'm going to say this was back in the late 80s. Okay. I had enough celebrity points, you know, from my days on daytime television. Yeah. Well, no, Seinfeld hadn't started. But so when you go to the Sinatra tournament, what I didn't know is that you're required to go to his house afterwards, and every celebrity had to perform for Frank.
Huge
at his house
honor.
On his. So he was there. So everybody would tell a joke. So you're there all night long, and I'm sitting there going, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" So 2:30 in the morning, the pianist calls over. He goes, "Coming up," you know, like that. So, oh my goodness! So I go over there to the piano and I whisper something to the accompanist there, and he looks at me as though I've just licked his ear, and that kind of look on his face, and and he starts playing, and when I finish singing, I'm looking and nobody's clapping. Oh. Everybody's looking at Sinatra. And the reason is that I did one of the stupidest things you could ever do in my career. I just sang Sinatra to Sinatra, and he's sitting there looking at me like this, and he goes. You know, that's the song that Joe Raposo wrote for me to sing to my wife. Were you singing to my wife? Oh, and I said, no, sir, I wasn't.
Sorry, sir. Yeah. It's funny you say that because our own Kevin Frankish recently sang to Gordon Lightfoot. So no, it's like he just had a you moment.
Don't sing Sinatra to Sinatra. You think I would have learned that.
I'm sure he was honored because you have such a beautiful voice. You do. I don't know how you do all that you do. You've also got a hot show coming up. It is the annual dog show.
The National Dog Show presented by Purina. Last year, 26.2 million people watched it. It is the #1 show on NBC now.
Why do
Isn't
you
that something?
think the #1 show
because
all year long?
you've got people just love their. Well, look at what we're looking at right there.
They're pooches.
You cannot do a close-up of a dog, and if you're traveling around on your remote, you're going to stop and watch. We have 190 breeds, believe it or not. They're all, everyone, look at them. They're all unusual, but this is the rich history of breeding. That's all it is, and that's all it is celebrating.
And speaking of breeding, it's an awkward turn. Could we talk about your gorgeous son? Your gorgeous son. Look at this family photo. Beautiful wife. I mean, you guys are all stunning, and you actually work together sometimes. Does he have the acting
this was just recently. Yes, I got to tell you a story about this. That's James Cameron. I just hosted the Engineering Awards in Hollywood last weekend, and my son there was my co-host.
Love it. How did he do?
Yeah. And he was he came out on stage as the future. He says, "Daddy, I'm the future." And he sat and talked and described what virtual reality is going to be like, and he worked off the prompter and what have you. So it was very kind of fun. I know. It was just he was just the best. Everybody had such a good time with him.
Listen, you clearly love kids. That's why you're in town for the 9th annual Rally for Kids with Cancer Scavenger Cup. It's going to be awesome when you see him around town. Yes, it is John O'Hurley, and you need to come and perform here in Toronto because we love us some theater. We love us some good music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you'll have to do it. Always a pleasure. Thank you for sticking around this morning, John, and for getting up so early. Follow him on Twitter, too. Right now, over to Kev. Yes, Kev, you did serenade Gordon Lightfoot. Apparently, it's a no-no.
I did, and I did a horrible job. But, John, I recognize you now.
Oh.
Were you not Bill Cooper in Baywatch?
You know, it's funny. I've done Baywatch more than any other actor in Hollywood history. I've done it twice.
Not only did you...
And both times I got mouth to mouth by Pamela Anderson.
It's a tough job. Someone's got to do it.
Both times, mouth to mouth.
Did you really? Did you really?
I went back a second time. Yeah.
He looked amazing.
And I worked for free the second time.
In the red bathing suit, too. He looked awesome.
tell you,
Not only...
The one piece.
Not only, and I don't know if I should mention this, not only were you in Baywatch, you were in Baywatch Nights.
Oh, with Angie Harmon. You're exactly right.
That's
yes, I
right.
did. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Kev's
yeah,
really
yeah.
been checking that IMDb account. His list
Yes.
never ends.
He's guest
Kev.
starred on more than 50 television shows. Not one is still on the air.
Coming up on Breakfast Television, John O'Hurley runs in slow motion in a Speedo. You don't want to miss that.